Lovely to see you, to be with you. Beautiful. Yes. So we welcome ourselves. We welcome each other as one in the same consciousness, the same reality, the same isness, the same being, same beingness, which is this oneness, this love, this intimacy. Our true self is this ocean, the ocean of love, of being, of bliss, of peace, of happiness, without any separation. Everything we experience as this intimacy. And so we relax in this presence. Which is peace, the causeless peace. There is no reality to personal problems because there is no reality to a separate person in your experience. Because your experience is not a storyline. There is a world, body, mind, but there are images on the screen of consciousness. The reality of your experience is that seamless, borderless, eternal presence, which has no beginning, no ending. You perceive beginning and ending, the beginning of the day, the end of the day, and the beginning of the night. But you never perceive your beginning and ending, the beginning and ending of the reality which perceives, which knows itself to be formless self. As consciousness, there is nothing we are seeking. There is nothing which is lacking, missing. We have been so habituated to believe ourselves and know ourselves as a limited person, a man, a woman, somebody in time and space, so habituated to seeking and avoiding, fearing, protecting. It's become sort of an instinctive way of being. So we invite ourselves to a new understanding. The understanding about that which is beyond the mind, the understanding about that which is not a narrative in time, a me story. It's a sort of profound relaxation, profound, one could say, letting go or acceptance or an undoing. We may even say an undoing, because all is done in God's kingdom just as it needs to be, as it should be. It is always available to us. This borderless awareness, this formless, invisible awareness, always at hand. We don't need to go anywhere to realize that awareness is real and that everything is refers to awareness. Sometimes we say simply be without being anybody or anything. Allow being recognized, being recognizing itself. It's a silent understanding. Sometimes there is a question that is being raised: what happens to the soul when I die? Where does it go? Because this question has been raised. Explore it here for a minute. It's important to be clear about the language we use. So one could ask oneself experientially, what is a soul? Without referring to a belief, without referring to some download which we've registered in memory. Experientially, what is it? Are we referring to consciousness? Because consciousness is experiential. Awareness is experiential. In this moment, I am conscious that I'm conscious. I'm aware that I'm aware. And I'm aware that I'm hearing, perceiving, sensing. Are we referring to some imaginary entity or imaginary thing, imaginary other reality besides consciousness, which inhabits the body-mind? There would be imagination, wouldn't it? So maybe the question is, what happens to consciousness when I die? It's important to be clear that by consciousness, we refer to the reality that right now perceives this perception, that which is and knows it is, that which is aware and knows it is aware. So what happens to awareness or consciousness when I die? Then the question arises, what is this I that dies? Are we referring to the body? Because the body is not I, it's the body is a form, perception, sensation, a realm of sensation, a realm of mentation. Are we referring to I as the body? Important question. I perceive sensation, bodily sensations. I perceive a toothache. Perceive the breath, gentle movement of the body. I am the perceiving element, the perceiving aspect, not that which is perceived. I am not limited by that which I perceive. Is it the body that perceives? Or is it consciousness which perceives? What is I? Is I the body-mind instrument? Or is I this formless, magical awareness? One could say the body dies, but does consciousness die? What would be the experience of consciousness dying? Awareness being aware of non-awareness? To keep these questions alive, until they reveal the understanding. In the understanding, the questions dissolve. We speak of death as if we know what we are talking about. If we really knew what death is, that means we've already experienced death. Because why would we talk of something we don't have any experience of? Maybe we speak of death because we already know death. Because in every moment one could say that birth and death meet. Like waves on the surface of the ocean, constantly morphing, movement within the stillness of the ocean. The movement of the world, of the body and the mind within the ocean of consciousness, which does not move. So when we talk of birth and death, are we talking about the Shakti aspect of Shiva, the manifestation aspect of the unmanifest? Not to be confused with I die. Because I is the noumenal reality which is and knows it is. As you stabilize yourself in this understanding, as this understanding stabilizes itself within your being, you will be free of the impression of birth and death. That veil will be lifted. And this veil is not a real veil, because reality is consciousness. The veil is just the dance of consciousness. Consciousness veiling itself, God veiling itself from herself to herself, from itself to itself. You veil yourself from yourself via the belief that you are a mother or a father, a son or a daughter, a person. A veil which is unnecessary, because consciousness shines effortlessly and is inviting you to your own recognition, invites itself to its own recognition. So we say yes. So if you have any questions, anything you'd like to discuss, please make sure you unmute yourself. Any questions?
Hi, I'm Uli.
I'm sorry, who is talking?
Uli, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't really have a question, but I would like to express my gratitude to you for providing this space and the gift of your words. I find it tremendously helpful and comforting to come here. And I just want to let everybody know I'm happy to be here.
Hello, Ellen. I don't know if you can turn your video on. You're not sure, but
Hi, Marjorie.
yes.
Can I do it next time? Apologize about it. I just had a question,
Yes.
and I was wondering, knowing the truth and knowing the truth about reality, could you say something about motivation?
Motivation.
Mhm. That
Yeah. To have a motive. And to be motivated. And the best form of motivation is love, is this inner calling, the impersonal calling. Like you may be interested in playing the violin and you find yourself, one could say, very motivated to spend hours in rehearsal and playing, working on the sound, and because you're enjoying, you're loving what you are doing. So there is joy, and there is no, you don't experience the weight of time and the angst and the resistance. I mean, there may be some difficulty sometimes, and you may have to rehearse a piece 100 times. But you're motivated. Now, sometimes there is an external force which motivates you, like I mean, work and pay the bills. So you're motivated to sometimes drive in traffic and spend hours doing something that is not so exciting, but hey, it pays the bills. It provides the financial income. So it's a different form of motivation. Um, Sometimes, we motivated to do things out of principle, like a bond, the family bond, for example. Sometimes it operates, it makes us, calls us to do things that, for the family, for some sort of bond. In terms of the non-dual exploration and contemplation, in my experience, my motivation was God. I mean, using a big word here, using a religious word, my motivation was, I don't know, it's way beyond my mind. I could say that when God reveals itself to you, it unveils itself, even for a moment, the magnificence and the glory. It could, I mean, various degrees, of course, of glimpses, but any glimpse of truth, of reality, has tremendous effect. Maybe not immediately, but over time. It depends, from case to case. But it lights a fire, even if it's a small fire. It lights a fire in the darkness, in the so in the non-dual, in our contemplations, the motivation is truth. Truth is the motivation. One could say love is the motivation. One could say beauty is the motivation. But beyond the mind, some coming from beyond, you see. Somehow the light starts to shine, or shines within you, and calls you to explore, to, I don't know, study the scriptures. I remember in my case, I would sit in meditation. Of course, use the word meditation. I used to sit and contemplate, look, listen, observe within. I was interested. And this interest is not personal. It's sort of, it came to me. It's an impersonal interest. And it was similar to somebody who's like have passion for the arts, where they could spend hours and hours painting or doing sculpture, or there's a similarity to that. And what's lovely about the contemplation of truth is that as you contemplate truth, and truth reveals itself more and more to you, and one could say your motivation even increases, your love increases, because the understanding starts to bloom, and the perfume of love and understanding reinforces your love and your passion for the truth. Best motivation is the impersonal motivation. Of course, as human body minds, there's also practical aspects, and it also it motivates us to do various things. But even in that context, we're motivated to take care of the body-mind, because it's not the body-mind we love, it's consciousness. The body-mind is constantly playing tricks on you. But it's consciousness which we love. So even when we're engaging in various activities, for our family, our partner, our life, ourselves, it's because we love consciousness.
It feels like there would be no effort.
Yeah, there is no effort. Effort comes from a me impression, believing that I am the body, mind, and person already. You are limiting yourself, and because you're limiting yourself, you engage in effort to unlimit yourself. So effort, it depends how you define it. Is effort when you, for example, you're lifting a heavy weight? One could say there's effort, but that's at the physical level, at the practical level. But psychological effort always refers to a form of resistance, and the resistance refers to a me resisting, to the sense of separation. So in the absence of the belief that I am a person, I'm Ellen, I'm some separate self in the world, in the absence of that belief, in the absence of that feeling, in the absence of that sense of limitation, you're the flow. You're the flow. Of course, sometimes you say no because there are some things that don't apply to you. You say no, but saying no would be part of the flow. You see, it's not the saying no out of trying to protect your personal self. Of course, we say no to take care of the body too. Sometimes we say, no, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm not going to go on that trip. I need to rest, or I'm not going to go for that hike. I need to rest. So there is the psychological effort, which we need to take a look at. And when you take a look at the psychological effort, you find resistance, and you find a me resisting. Of course, there isn't actually a me, but there is an impression of in me that you need to protect or needs to protect itself. And that already is a resistance. Which is quite different from the body needing to protect itself from a certain danger. That's different. You see? So yes, you're right. There's no effort. It's a flow.
That is so clear how you explain it. It's so good. I was just last little question. Energy, what is the connection of, so to speak, physical energy, which more looks like a concept, but connected to the lack of effort, lack of effort.
Again, it depends how you define energy, you see. Experientially, you get a green light, from within you to say yes to certain things, say no to certain things. And this green light, as long as it's not coming from trying to maintain the me structure, which is an old pattern, then the energy is clear and clean and it's pure energy, you see. What makes the energy gritty is the belief in separation. Then you're experiencing a limited sense of self and an outside sense of things, world, of others. And it's as if there is this harmony, it's as if you have to work on the harmony because of this sense of separation. But in the absence of this belief, in this feeling that I am this and not that, then there's just a flow of energy. Everything is harmonious. There is a harmonious energy, this you could say, a harmony, a cadence, a certain a symphonic aspect to you don't have false notes, false. So harmony and energy, I would say harmonious flow is good energy. It's a harmonious energy. It's a clean energy. Again, people use the word energy in so many different ways. So we have to. So I'm using the word energy, but I'm trying to sort of portray, use that word to sort of integrate it in what we share here about being, about consciousness, about oneness, you see. So I'm using it that way, but I think energy is a term used more in science, in the scientific science. Use the term energy. I'm not sure how they define it. Maybe somebody knows it. I don't know. But there's a formula for energy. Mm.
And in a context that everything just appears, where does energy even take place? Where does it fit? The energy. Where does it fit? Because
how do you mean energy? What before when you say energy, what do you mean by that? Because
it assumes taking action, and if it all just appears, where is this taking action takes place?
Oh, yes, that's better than the word energy. So concerning action, we can observe, for example, that, let's say we're driving a car, right? That's an action, right? Would you agree that's an action, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Driving a car. So let's try to understand the experience so we know what we're talking about together, you see. On one hand, we all agree about what driving a car is. Okay, I'm driving the car. That's what we say, I'm driving the car. We can all agree. But what is the experience of driving a car? Meaning, what is the experience of action? What's this action? What is experientially, what is this action? So experientially, imagine yourself now. Imagine you're driving a car, okay? You're driving home. Experientially, there are perceptions. And there is a movement. The road is moving, right? If you take a camera and you put it right next to you and you're running the camera, and then you watch the movie, you'll see that the road is moving, trees are moving. There is
Yes.
There is movement, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm kind of what would be the difference between someone who can drive for many hours without a break and someone who can just drive for a short time and feel tiredness? What would be? Is it just difference in the picture?
Wait, okay. All right, let me go to your question. So if you're driving just for 20 minutes, and if you're driving for 2 days, when you're driving for 20 minutes, you will not perceive certain bodily sensations that you would perceive if you drove for 2 days. If you drove for 2 days, you will perceive certain sensations in your lower back. You will perceive certain bodily sensations in your knees, maybe bodily sensations in your neck. So the difference at the bodily sensation level is that you would be perceiving certain bodily sensations if you drove for 2 days that you would not perceive if you drove for 10, 15 minutes, right? You agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you drove for 2 days, you will be perceiving many more images than if you than you drove 10 minutes. But I'm not sure that what is the heart of your question. I have a feeling that
I actually got it. You answered it. That was the difference, because I was looking at what's the difference between the sense of tiredness and not. And I see that with tiredness, there's just more sensations that are being perceived rather than someone who feels not tired. There is no sensations that they perceive at this moment. Thank you so much, Magdi. That's what that was exactly my question.
And these sensations, they're giving you information. They're telling you, all right, you need to rest the body now, or you need to stop at the next coffee shop, take a break, right? Because the information that's coming to you is, the lower back needs some rest. So it's information that's coming to you. to respond to whichever way you want, you know. What truck drivers do, because our truck drivers, they drive for thousands of miles, they take speed. You know, they take pills because they have a lower back. They notice bodily sensations that are telling them stop, but they have another 1,000 miles to cover, and they only have, I don't know, so many hours to do it. So anyways, that's just a side note.
Thank you so much, Mukti. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So activity, movement, perceptions, it's just outside of awareness, there is nothing. It's all awareness manifesting itself as, okay, time to take a break, or manifesting itself as, okay, time to cook lunch, or manifesting itself as just this conversation right now, you see. So, in fact, there is movement, and there's also non-movement. So the movement is an impression that non-movement creates and perceives. An example of that would be like in your night dream, right? In your night dream, let's say you're in bed, you're not moving, you're sleeping. But you're dreaming that you're traveling across the United States. You're perceiving this journey, which is movement. But in fact, you're not moving, because when you wake up, you realize, oh, I didn't really travel from New York to California. So in a way, the waking state is like that as well. In the waking state, there is movement, but in fact, there is no movement. So let me just share.
That's why we shouldn't lose any energy, so to speak, because we are really not doing much. But somehow the experience of getting tired and losing energy appears.
Yeah, getting tired is just information coming to you about what to do next. But in the universe, there is nothing that's lost or augmented. If you is in the universe, there is, you cannot add anything to it or remove anything from it. When I say universe, in consciousness, because the reality of the universe is consciousness. There's nothing you can add or remove. There is an impression of polarity and movement. You could see that there is a certain gravitational field where galaxies are moving. Within the galaxies, there is movement, and between galaxies and there is movement. But this movement, in fact, is just a play, a dance of Shiva, of non-movement. Experientially, if you look at your experience, you never experience two things at the same time. Right? You don't experience a second ago and now, or 10 minutes ago and now. You don't experience two things at the same time. You're always experiencing this you could say frame, this frame. And the impression of movement is when you take a frame and you move it at a certain rotation, a certain speed, then there is the impression of continuation. There is an impression of time. So the impression of time and the impression of movement is a certain energetic an energizing of this one frame, because we're always experiencing this one frame. So like the way we experience time is via thought. Like, for example, breakfast this morning, right? Or 10 minutes ago. And now it's 10 minutes later. So there is thought or memory, you could say, but thought gives the impression of time. Oh yeah, we've been meeting here in Satsang for like say an hour, right? It's the impression of time, right? But it's because of the thought, the memory or the thought about an hour ago, right? But this thought about an hour ago it arises right now. It doesn't arise an hour ago because you never experienced an hour ago. We never experienced an hour ago, or we never experienced an hour from now. We're always experiencing now, right? Right. So the time, meaning an hour ago, is experienced now in the timeless. So the time is actually, the reality of time is timelessness. If you see what I mean? It's like, in fact, time is not an experience. Time is an inference, we say, because our experience is always timelessness, right? So the reality of death and the reality of life is consciousness, which is timelessness. Timelessness means the unmanifest, that which cannot not be. So the timelessness. The timelessness is that which cannot not be, which is and cannot not be, right? Time is an unfolding of the timelessness within itself. So it's a sort of like going through the black hole, you know, in the other side of the black hole. On one side there is time, on the other side there is no time, but there are no sides really. It's just it's unfolded within itself. It's anyways, always refer to your experience in the present, in the nowness, because that is more true. That would give you whatever questions you are posing, you will find the answer to them in the now. If you dig into the now, you will find the answers to your question. But if you dig into the mind, into memory, into thought, you will get lost, because thought or memory refers to movement, and the movement cannot reveal to you the truth, because the truth does not move. Anyways, I'm going all over the place with that.
That is true. Just the last thing I just want to say very quick. I see the chain reaction, how it's all connected and how it all leads to energy, and it all kind of holds on to this illusion of time. I see.
Yes.
And I see what you mean.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. So the true energy is the collapse of all dimensions into being, into presence. That's where all the colors of the rainbows come together into the white light. It's a collapse of the infinite colors of the rainbow into the white light. So it's you know how the prism, you shoot the white light through the prism and then you have the rainbow of colors. Now imagine the rainbows of colors coming back through the prism into the white light. That would be the pure energy, a non-diffracted energy. And then, of course, there is the diffracted energy, which is the white light going through the prism. And then you have the infinite colors, which is the mind, thoughts, experiences, sensations, perceptions, creation, right? But the reality of the infinite colors is the white light. So the reality of the various forms of energy is this one energy, which is the collapse of time into being, into presence, into consciousness.
That is so beautiful, Magdi.
Okay.
That is really beautiful how you explain it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hi, Holger.
Hi, Magdi. I just wanted to quickly, in a way, speaking about the me from the past feels a little bit like telling ghost stories.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, but allow me just to share a ghost story because I could relate to Alan's exhaustion, and I believe to understand in myself because I was always easily exhausted because I had no place to rest. I only knew the me in thinking and feeling, and I was unaware of resting in being. And so I constantly was struggling. I was efforting just to, and it seemingly wasted so much energy, just being busy in my own mind.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Efforting is to maintain being somebody, but for being as effortless is the effortlessness
Absolutely.
of and the efforting of being somebody and maintaining whatever we maintain, you know, whatever, I don't know, habits, patterns, protective patterns, you know, ghosts, as you say, or which feel threatening or feel urgent. So
I had a career in being exhausted.
Yeah, it's nice to come upon simplicity, you see, and to take the path of simplicity, least resistance, the flow. It works, you know.
It does.
That's right, yeah, and yeah,
and such a beauty that it doesn't matter how I feel. It's simply being aware as presence of presence. I don't need to be concerned with my surface moods because they just come and go. I don't need to hook into them. I can just rest in being, and then automatically everything harmonizes itself.
Your feelings align themselves with your non-resistance, your ease, your easiness, your decision to be easy, to be simple, and your feelings will the old ways of the feelings will change. And you find out the feelings are just going with what's happening. You see, there'll be less power in the feelings field. You see, and more into the flow, into the ease of being, and sort of use the word surrender, you know, more like a flow and nothing at stake, and it's sweet, it's easy, and it's more friendly, and it's, there's more appreciation. and less complication, you say.
Mwah. Mamma mia. Beautiful.
You have Italian, a little Italian in you, huh?
Poco.
Yeah.
I would like to ask a question.
Yes, hello, Renate. Yes.
Hello. Because for myself, I can say, even though my understanding is deepening and I'm less attached to the me life, much less than before, but still I find that the body is easily exhausted.
Yes.
And I don't go around like I used to be like 10 years ago, and I prefer to stay at home and all this, and um, and a little bit it surprises me that I'm like this. So it's old. The aging process seems to still going on.
Yes, of course.
Even
Because
though I should have more energy than before, but
yeah, there is, of course, the aging process of the body, and it's helpful to do some sort of exercise, whatever. I mean, I don't mean like addiction to a gym, no, but it's a good idea to also with age to just give the body a little but although there is sort of that slowing down of the body, I find that that it doesn't interfere, at another level. It doesn't interfere. There is more spontaneity, and less resistance. And when there's less resistance, that means you're available. There isn't like a laziness, which comes from habit. At least with my experience, I find that overall, of course, not in all cases, I'm like more available to just go with the flow, things that need to be done, things that there is less resistance to activity. There is less of this me story about, so then there is an availability because there isn't a story, the absence of that. I find that, just speaking for myself, that, things need to be done. I just do them, I just find, okay, I can do it. Doesn't matter what it is. If I have to go to take care of fixing something with the car, there is no resistance. It's like, okay, I'll do it. And I remember, like, previously there would be sort of trying to postpone it, and even when I went to do it, there was an inner resistance. So that I find it's unnecessary, and it's not pleasant for me. It's unnecessary. It's a habit. I had this habit of an inner grouchy, grouch, So what for? So these things, in small ways, we can also work on them. But yes, in terms of the body, I think that obviously there is less energy as the body ages, and I like to go swimming. If there is a nice place to go swimming, that's good for I like to do that. I find the buoyancy of the water is I can move around the body in many different ways and stretch in the back, the necks and knees, etc.
There's one thing I would like to add, like with the exercise, I just can't bring myself to do it. I used to exercise to love it, and now the other day I lay down to do some stuff and just couldn't do it. But I also find if I don't judge it, then it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I still keep up. You should, Then
no, because we the body can sometimes be a pain, So it's a good thing to feed the body, correctly, especially as the body ages, and to give the body, not like you should. No, it's just how we manage it, And of course, you have the complete freedom to manage your body any way you want, It's completely, you have the complete freedom. There's no should or shouldn't about it. I find that to a certain extent, I like to give this body a little bit of, not much, yes, a little bit of movement, so that it doesn't make too much trouble right now. At some point it will, of course, and then at some point we discard it, of course, but for the time being. My son, he does quite a bit of physical exercises and gymnastics and so on. So he bought me these a set of rubber bands. They're like I don't know, they're like thick bands, and there are different tensions, different, and I use them to. He showed me a few exercises to do. So sometimes I do them, sometimes I don't. But he asks me regularly, "Dad, did you do it? Did you do it?" So it's motivating me, Talking about motivation, Ellen was asking, that's external motivation, but I'm okay with it. I think it's a good idea to do some. And I find that's gentle, you see. And I do like sets sometimes of like 10, and then something else, 10. I count to 10, 1, 2. And I find it gentle. And sometimes I feel like doing 20 or 30, and sometimes I only feel like doing 10, you see. So I just do 10, Okay, nice to see you, Renate.
Thank you, Martin. I feel a relaxation around the topic now.
Good. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I have something to say about exercise. This is Uli.
Hi, Uli.
I've been trying to do yoga. I used to do yoga regularly, and so I do it again 3 days a week. And then I thought, well, I could do more. why not 5 days a week? And then I hurt myself. I stretch myself to a point where I can barely move up and down, can't sit up and down, and can hardly walk. And I just keep forgetting that I am the age I am, which is almost 80, and that you can't do these things. You might want to do those things, but I have to be more moderate about it, and I have to restrain myself from overdoing it. And it's a really hard lesson for me to learn because I just keep hurting myself over and over in the last few months. And then I spend 2 weeks getting better. And then I think, oh, I'm all well, back to it.
Oh, see.
So moderation is really key when the body's aging. But I do feel so good doing it. It feels so great. It's just afterwards I pay for it.
Yeah, I also do some yoga stretches, but nice and easy, nothing too complicated. Yeah. Well, thank you all. Very lovely to be with you. Enjoy in your company. Esther. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, you have to, the Sue, the Sue thing. Holger. You look it up. I'm sure if you Google it, there should be a way. Renate, Uli, Roya, Ellen, Vice, Mina, Lynn, Varsha, Julie, Joanna, Mark. Beautiful tree behind you there. Wow, really, very lovely. Yes. And Jackie. Okay, thank you all. I hope I didn't forget anybody. Much love to you.